How's it going, everyone? Saiyan the Samurai here. Today I'm going to bring you another Hardcore Wedlocke video, but this time I'm going to be playing Alpha Sapphire. If you don't know what a Wedlocke is, here are the rules on the screen. This is a Nuzlocke variant created by Maryland, and it's one of my all-time favorite Nuzlocke variants. The twist here is that I add the Hardcore rule set, which I have a couple videos up on the channel myself, and has become very popular here on YouTube. Before I get started, I just want to say, if you like these kind of videos, don't forget to like and comment below and let me know what you think. I'm still trying to figure out my footing in terms of my content on the channel, and your comment helps me gauge what works and what doesn't work. If you want to see more of my content, definitely subscribe. Then you'll know when I upload a video or short. Also, if you want to watch these Nuzlocke challenges live, feel free to drop a follow on my Twitch. The link is in the description down below. Alright, now that the call to action is out of the way, let's jump right into this challenge. So I hop out of the truck, set my clock, and go next door to introduce myself to the neighbor girl, May. Then a little boy yells for help after he notices Professor Birch being chased by a Poochyena. I rush over and choose Mudkip as my starter, because if you haven't heard, I like Mudkip. Anyway, I take the Meiji Mutt down, and the professor lets me keep the Mudkip, who I named Sobble, which the nickname theme for this run will be other Pokemon's names. Original, I know. After a bit of grinding, I face May at level 7. Then after beating her, I get some Pokeballs and I can finally start catching Pokemon. So, just a heads up, I do typically count gift Pokemon as separate encounters, so I can still catch a Pokemon in the area I received Mudkip. But before I do that, I go to Route 103 and catch a Lotad, which turns out to be male. So, not only do I have to release it, my encounter for the route is also null void. So I go back to Route 101 and catch a female Wurmple. Then I catch a Poochyena, and then hold Wally's hand to catch her ults. Then I catch a female Zigzagoon, and in the forest I run into a Slackoth, which I accidentally run away from. Yeah, I was pretty mad about that. But now it's time to fight Roxanne. I lead with Mudkip and Mudslap to not only lower Geodude's accuracy, but to eliminate the pesky Sturdy. And Rock Tomb hits, doing quite a bit of damage. My speed drops, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Then a Water Gun knocks Geodude out, and out comes a clean-shaved Nigel Thornberry. Nose Pass does end up being faster, but Tackle only does a little bit of damage. And then I Mudslap. Then after a couple turns of hardened Mudslap and growls, I managed to knock out the Nose Pass after a little bit of a close call. But hey, Roxanne's relatively easy. In fact, rock Pokemon are super easy. There's no way anything can go wrong, right? Well, frick. Beautifly and Whismur were my only survivors, so I just restarted the game. If I'm going to have a chance in this run, I need Mudkip to survive all the way until at least Watson. Things play off similarly, but I am able to get a full team before the gym. Mudkip and Wurmple become pair 1 again, Lotad and Wingull become pair 2, and Zigzagoon and Shroomish become pair 3. I roll with the same strat for Roxanne, which doesn't go as smoothly with my berry activating a little earlier, but I managed to beat her without losing Mudkip, and then I get my revenge on the hiker. Then before the next gym, I catch Whismur, Magikarp, and Tentacool. Then I go up against the not-so-legendary Super Saiyan, Brawley. I know in the movie it's Brawley, but I can't help but make that joke. He leads with Machop, and I lead with Butterfree, my Beautifly. Machop goes down to 1 gust, and then out comes Mugahita, who also goes down to just 1 gust. Dang, that was beautiful. Okay. Then I catch a Zubat, talk to Steven, and try to get some free soda pop at the beach, losing Zigzagoon in the process. But before replacing Zigzagoon with someone from the box, I go and catch a Plusle, which does end up taking the spot. Then I battle May, which might be the hardest rival battle with her. She leads with Slugma, and then I lead with Marshtomp. Slugma almost gets taken out by a Water Gun, and Incinerate destroys the Oranberry I gave him. The next Water Gun takes it out, and then out comes Grovyle. I switch into Beautifly, but I do take some pursuit damage in the switch. Grovyle's Quick Attack only does a bit of damage, and Gust takes it down to about half. After taking a crit pursuit, using up my Oranberry, Gust takes Grovyle down to the red. After AI decides to do Mega Drain, Gust does take Grovyle out, and then out comes Wailmer. Absorb barely does any damage, and then Beautifly gets trapped in Whirlpool. After getting a bit of health back using Morning Sun, Wailmer uses Rollout. A crit takes Beautifly down to 3 HP, and Whirlpool takes it out. Ouch. Then I send Marshtomp out. I use Mud Slap to lower the accuracy of rollout, and after a few turns, Wailmer goes down to a Rock Tomb. That was rough, and it could have been a lot worse. I probably would have had to reset if I lost Marshtomp again. I replaced Beautifly with Magikarp, put it in the daycare, and after a bit of running around, took Magikarp out at level 18. And then I decided to take on the gym. I take care of every trainer pretty easily up until I meet the second to last trainer, who leads with a Meditite. I lead with Lombre, and in my infinite wisdom I thought I could just switch into Wingull and take it out with a wing attack. But after switching Wingull in, a crit Thunder Punch takes it out, and what makes things worse is I don't think it would have mattered if it crit or not. Then after almost taking it out with Lombre, Meditite kills another Pokemon. Well, at least Wingull and Lombre will always be together. I send Plusle out and take it out after a couple of quick attacks. Dang, that sucked. I grab Whisper from the box, and I see I don't have another female Pokemon in the box. So, I go and catch a female Roselia. Then I just throw Caution to the wind and fight Watson. He leads with Magnemite, and I lead with Marshtomp. One Mud Shot activates Magnemite's Sturdy ability, and Magnemite hits a weak tackle. Then after a Super Potion, Water Gun takes Magnemite down to above half, guaranteeing the next Mud Shot kills. Then, Magneton comes out. Magneton misses a Supersonic, and I use Rock Tomb to eliminate the Sturdy. Now that I'm faster, one Mud Shot takes Magneton out. Then comes Watson's last Pokemon, Voltorb. I guess you could say he dropped the ball, because one Mud Shot takes it out. Now I can progress and get some new encounters. I catch a Geodude, a Machop, a Grimer, a Spinda, a Seviper, and a Lunatone I cannot keep, because I always forget that Lunatone and Solrock don't have genders. So, no Bagon encounter later. That's unfortunate. And then I go fight Archie. He leads with Mightyena, and I lead with Plusle. I start with a Charm, and Mightyena uses Swagger. Plusle hits itself hard in Confusion, and Assurance hits Plusle to the yellow. I switch into Breloom, and then get roared into Gyarados. So, because I got roared into a different pair, I am able to use the Gyarados. Gyarados' secret power hits hard, and Mightyena roars again, bringing Plusle right back out. And then I use Volt Switch, taking out Mightyena and getting a safe switch into Breloom. Out comes Golbat, and here's where things turn bad. I think that Breloom can live one attack, but it goes down to one Air Cutter. Yeah, I should have realized that knowing it was 4 times weak to flying type moves. I send Plusle out and use Volt Switch because I knew it would be able to take it out. But I run into a pretty bad situation. Sharpedo comes out and I send out Gyarados. But because I have to use Plusle, I have to switch right back into Plusle. But when I switch back into Plusle, Sharpedo swaggered, giving me one more chance to possibly take it out. Plusle's faster, and crap.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
I send Roselia out next. She avoids Sharpedo's attack and then takes it out with Giga Drain. That was really rough. Then I catch a Spoink, and I get the Wynot Egg. After trying to make it hatch and quitting after about 10 minutes, I decided to just add my next pair and hatch it later. So I choose to add Spoink and Machop to the team. After a bit of grinding, I take on the gym, and then I face this dude. He sends Numel, and I send out my Spoink, which sucks because I forgot to heal up. The Side Beam takes Numel down to about half, and Numel's Earth Power hits pretty hard, taking Spoink's health down to 22. Knowing that the next Earth Power could take Spoink out, and knowing that my move killed on a range, I switch out Machop and Earth Power hits harder than I expected. So I go for Low Sweep and Numel ends up being faster and takes Machop out with an Overheat. So pushed against the wall, risking Spoink will go down, I use Side Beam and it hits the high roll, taking out the Numel. I add Seviper to the team and just decided to take Flannery as is. Slugma comes out and I send out Marshtomp. Rock Slide takes Slugma out, and then Numel comes out, going down to only one Water Gun. Now, out comes Torkoal. I go for a Water Gun, taking only a third of its health, and Torkoal uses Sunny Day. Then I go for a Dig, and Torkoal uses Curse, boosting his attack and defense. Dig almost takes it out, and it goes for another Curse. So, I switch Gyarados in, and Torkoal gets healed up. After 2 Dragon Rages, Torkoal goes down, and I get my 4th badge. I pick up the Root Fossil, and I start taking on Norman's gym. I make a safe path up until this room, and I lose Roselia to a Linoone, who hits Fury Swipes 5 times. That's just bad luck right there. I replace Roselia with Grimer, and then after taking a day to come up with the strat, I take on Norman. He sends out his first Slacking, and I send out Gyarados to cut his attack with Intimidate. Slacking goes for Yawn, and I go for Thunder Wave. Then I switch into Marshtomp, and Slacking loafs around. Then I use Dig and avoid Slacking's attack. I do this for a little while, and I take Slacking out. Then comes Vigoroth. Vigoroth uses Retaliate, and hits pretty hard, but not as bad as I thought. Then I use Dig, which almost takes him out. After one more Retaliate, I Dig, and then take Vigoroth out. Out comes the last Slacking. I switch into Gyarados, and it uses Chip Away, which honestly was the best thing it could have done for me, because Retaliate would have hit really hard. Then I use Bite and avoid getting hit. Then I get a safe Bite out, and then after another Bite, Chip Away hits Gyarados to 33 health, and my Oranberry activates. Then after 2 Dragon Rages, Slacking goes down. I'm actually really glad I managed to do this without losing anyone. Then I catch a Azumarill outside the gym. Then after taking on Team Aqua, I get a Latias, which I decide to keep since it's one of the few legendaries with a gender, and because this run's been a little bit rough. Then I catch an Electrike, a Tailo, and after doing a contest, I pick up the Cosplay Pikachu. Then I catch a Gloom and a Kecleon. And then while grinding, I lose my Loudred to a Horde Kecleon. I couldn't run because of Wrap, and Wrap's residual damage just ended up taking me out. I replace Loudred with Tailo, and I go battle Winona. She leads with Swellow, and I lead with Gyarados. Swellow uses Double Team, and I use Thunder Wave. Then, after only one Ice Fang, Swellow goes down. Next comes Pelipper. Pelipper uses Protect, wasting my Thunder Wave till the next turn. After taking an Aerial Ace, I switch into Marshtomp, and Pelipper uses Protect again. After using Rock Slide, Pelipper uses Water Pulse, and gets the confusion off. But then a high roll Rock Slide takes Pelipper out, and out comes Altaria. I switch back into Gyarados, and Altaria uses Cotton Guard. Then after a Thunder Wave, Altaria uses Dragon Breath, which paralyzes. This takes a bit of time with the combination of Roost and being fully paralyzed at times, but Altaria does go down. Then comes Skarmory. After taking an Aerial Ace, I get fully paralyzed. Then I switch into Marshtomp, who takes an Aerial Ace. I use Rock Slide, which does very little damage, but flinches in the process. After one more Rock Slide, Skarmory starts using Sand Attack. Then Marshtomp misses the Rock Smash, and Skarmory uses another Aerial Ace. Then I switch into Gyarados to try and get a Thunder Wave off, and to weaken Skarmory's attack. But Aerial Ace crits, with Gyarados living on 2 HP. Knowing how much trouble I'm in right now, I switch back into Marshtomp and Aerial Ace hits, and things get even more scary. I use Rock Smash to get the defense drop, and Skarmory uses Sand Attack. Then I switch into Gyarados, getting one more Intimidate, and Aerial Ace takes Gyarados out. Back with Marshtomp, I use Rock Slide, and Skarmory uses Sand Attack again. I miss a Rock Slide, and Skarmory uses another Sand Attack. After missing another Rock Slide, Aerial Ace hits Marshtomp down to 5 HP. Then Rock Slide hits and flinches. I get one more chance to hit, and then I miss a Rock Smash. Knowing that Marshtomp is gonna fall, I land one more Rock Smash, dropping Skarmory's defense, and Aerial Ace lands the fatal blow. I was so close to getting a Swampert. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. I send Seviper out and use Night Slash. Skarmory doesn't do a lot of damage, and then after one more Night Slash the crits, Skarmory goes down. That was rough, and in the long run, I probably should have kept Dragon Rage on Gyarados. I decided to use Lileep and Latias as the replacement for Marshtomp and Gyarados. Catch a Shuppet and a Duskull, but while grinding I lose Swellow to an Absol, after stupidly switching because I couldn't run away. Strap in, because this next section is going to be pretty painful. I replace Swellow with Duskull, lose Lileep to a Wild Azumarill, who crits with an Aqua Tail. Replace Lileep with Wailmer, who I actually named Azumarill earlier on, which is some pretty weird karma there. Catch a Doduo in the Safari Zone, catch a Celio, and while in the gym I lose Dusclops to a Crunch Girafarig, predicting a double hit, and then I lose Muck. This is where I start to lose my patience with the run. I grab Bloom and Electrike, and just go face Lizentate. Solrock and Lunatone come out, and I use Latias and Wailord. Latias gets a Surf Up, taking Solrock and Lunatone down to the yellow, and Solrock uses Sunny Day. Lunatone uses Light Screen, and Wailord sets up a Rain Dance, basically making Solrock's Sunny Day completely pointless. One more Surf from Latias takes Solrock out, and Lunatone lives on about 1. Lunatone uses Hypnosis on Wailord, hits it, and survives another turn. Lunatone is healed up after a Hyper Potion, and Latios uses Mist Ball, not doing very much but lowering its special attack, and Wailord stays asleep. Then a crit Surf takes Lunatone out, finally giving me an easy victory after a wild stretch of difficulty. After the gym, I catch a Chinchou under the water.
I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
And then I face Archie. I lead with Wailord, and Archie leads with Mightyena. A crit fighting hidden power takes Mightyena out, and then out comes Muck. I switch into Latios, and Gunk Shot gets a pretty good hit in. Mist Ball takes Muck down to a third of health, and Muck uses Screech. One more Mist Ball takes Muck out, and out comes Crobat. Mist Ball almost takes Crobat out, and Acrobatics hits pretty hard, taking Latios to 23 HP. Then Crobat goes down to a hidden power. Out comes Sharpedo. And this is where I make a pretty big mistake. I switch into Wailord when I should have just let Latios go down to get the safe switch in. And after Mega Evolving, Crunch hits super hard. One more Crunch takes Wailord out. Latios does get a good hit with hidden power, but it doesn't do enough, and Sharpedo takes Latios down. I send Seviper out, and after Crunch does very big damage, Seviper is able to take Sharpedo down, avenging Latios and Wailord. And I add Chinchou and Doduo to the team, and you would think I would train as safe as possible, right? Wrong. While grinding, I put Seviper and Grumpig away so I can train the team up without overleveling my strongest Pokemon, since I do have the XP share on. I miss a Sleep Powder and get hit by a Bulldoze. Then Graveler, being faster, self-destructs, taking Gloom down to 15 HP. Thinking I will need Gloom for Wallace, I send out Manectric. It gets hit by a Smackdown, then after getting a Crunch knocking off the Sturdy, Bulldoze takes Manectric out, and then Gloom finishes it off. I replace Manectric with Celio, and then proceed to lose Dodrio to a Trainer's Tentacruel after it survives a fly. That was such a Tentacruel battle. Then I add Wobbuffet to the team, which will be pretty important for the rest of the run, so keep an eye out. Then I proceed to lose Celio, because I was still not being the safest with my grinding, trying to gain levels fast. Then I add the real Azumarill to the team, in which I proceed to lose both Azumarill and Vileplume to a Trainer's Golduck, after getting flinched twice with Zen Headbutt. I don't know what to really think about this. I then replace Azumarill and Vileplume with Cosplay Pikachu and Zubat. After a few days of training, I'm finally able to progress. I catch a Sableye with my Master Ball, then I devise an unbeatable plan for Kyogre using Wobbuffet. A plan so perfect, nothing could possibly go wrong. Kyogre uses Ice Beam, and I use Encore. Then, after another Ice Beam, Wobbuffet gets frozen, throwing a wrench into my whole plan. And silly me, I didn't equip a berry that would unthaw myself, but instead a citrus berry. Frick! Then I send Lantern out. After a few turns and a discharge paralyzing at a crucial moment, Kyogre goes down. That could have been a lot worse. Then I go catch a Horsey and a Corsola, and then it's time to go fight the last gym. Wallace sends out a Love Disc, and I send out Lantern. Love Disc hits and attract, but luckily Lantern breaks through, taking it out with a discharge. Out comes Wishcash next, and I switch into Wobbuffet, predicting a Mud Sport, which it actually ends up doing. Then Wishcash uses Earthquake, and Wobbuffet's counter almost takes it out. One more Earthquake does a bit more damage, but then counter takes Wishcash out. Then comes Wallace's strongest Pokemon, Milotic. I stay in, risking Hydro Pump taking it out, but miraculously, it survives. And Mirror Coat takes out Milotic. Out comes Celio, who uses Aurora Beam, and I use Encore. Then I switch into Lantern, and Aurora Beam barely does anything. I decide I'm going to start setting up Double Team, wanting to make sure that Wallace's Seeking cannot connect a Horn Drill. Then after being fully evasive, a couple of Discharge takes Celio out, and out comes Seeking. I use Discharge, paralyzing Seeking, and Seeking uses Rain Dance. One more Discharge takes Seeking out, and I get my last badge. This has been a really rough ride, but I'm really starting to think I can do this. And I have a really solid team. I don't think anything else can go wrong. I start to go through Victory Road. I do something stupid, and I run into this trainer unprepared. I lose Viper to Sigilif, and Grumpig to Rhyperior. I wasn't expecting Pokemon from other generations to be in this Victory Road, and I was a bit dumbstruck. But that was the last mistake before the Elite Four. I had Bayonet and a Medicham I caught in the Victory Road, and safely trained them, and make it to Wally the next day. I come up with a special plan for this fight, leading with Bayonet against his Altaria. I lead with a Will-O-Wisp, weakening Altaria's physical move, and then I start Calm Mining. After setting up 5 Calm Mines, I proceed to go on the offensive. Shadow Ball takes a weakened Altaria out, then one Dark Pulse takes Delcatty out, and then when Shadow Ball takes Roselia out, Magneton does survive an attack with Sturdy, but goes down the next turn. Now comes Gallade. After showing off a very impressive Mega Evolution, Bayonet is faster and takes Gallade out with a Shadow Ball. I'm able to make it to Elite Four, even after every mistake in this run. And win or lose, I'm insanely proud of what it took to get here. It's now time to battle the Elite Four. Sydney is the first one up, which honestly might be the easiest person in the Elite Four. He leads with Mightyena and I lead with Crobat. I do get intimidated, but that doesn't matter too much. I go for a Cross Poison and get Swaggered. Lumberry comes into play and Mightyena goes down with my next attack. Then out comes Shiftry, who goes down to an Acrobatics. Same with Absol, Sharpedo, and Cacturn. So yeah, my dude was pretty easy. Next is Phoebe, and this one honestly is a bit tricky with the team I have. She leads with Dusclops and I lead with Pikachu. I lead with the Flash and Dusclops uses Curse. Then I switch into Crobat, who gets switched into a Confuse Ray, wasting my Lumberry. Then Acrobatics takes Dusclops out, and Bayonet comes out, which I switch into Pikachu. And Psychic does a lot less damage than I thought it would. I use Flash and Bayonet uses Toxic. I use another Flash and Bayonet uses Grudge. Which, if you don't know what Grudge does, it's basically Destiny Bond for your PP.
Phrasing?
After another Flash, Bayonet uses Shadow Ball and misses. Unfortunately, the plan here is to lose Pikachu. I get one more Flash off before Shadow Ball connects. Then I go into Crobat and start to set up Double Team. After being fully set up with some weird RNG where Psychic hit and I roosted every once in a while, I use Cross Poison a couple times to make sure Grudge isn't in use before taking Bayonet out, and out comes Sableye. It takes a few Acrobatics for it to go down, and then out comes Dusknoir. One Acrobatics takes it below half, and it does miss its attack. The next Acrobatics takes it out, and it only takes one Acrobatics for Phoebe's last Bayonet to go down. It was a really wild fight with some bad RNG throughout, but I managed to survive with only losing Pikachu. Now it's time for Blasia. She sends out Glalie and I send out Medicham. I start to set up double teams and Calm Mind, and while things get a bit dicey, Recover helps when Crunch does connect. Then once I'm fully set up, I go on the attack. My first Shadow Ball doesn't take Glalie out, and it sets up a light screen. After a full restore, a Shadow Ball takes it down to about half, and then I try and stall out the light screen. Once the light screen wears out, Shadow Ball takes it out. Then out comes Frostlass number 1, and being faster, Shadow Ball takes it out. Then out comes Frostlass number 2, and it also goes down to a Shadow Ball. Out comes Walrein next, who does survive a Shadow Ball but misses a Body Slam. One more Shadow Ball takes Walrein out, and out comes the last Glalie. It survives the Shadow Ball, but its special defense drops. After setting up a Hail and healing, Shadow Ball crits and takes Glalie out. Now it's time to fight Drake, and I'm going to utilize the same strategy I used for Wally. He sends out Altaria, and I go with Bayonet. After setting up 4 Calm Minds, I take Altaria out with the Shadow Ball. Ignore the poorly scaled sub notification. Salamence comes out next, and I get a little scared. Hoping that I'm faster because of the level difference, I go on the attack. But Salamence does end up being faster, taking Bayonet out. Now, Bayonet's base speed is 65, whereas Salamance's base speed is 100. Maybe if I trained up Bayonet's speed EVs, or even gave it a Quick Law, it might have been able to take Salamence out, but that seems highly unlikely. I probably should have just given Bayonet double team, but oh well. I'm forced to send Medicham out. I find out that Medicham is faster than Salamence here when it uses double team and its first attack misses. Then after another double team, Dragon Rush hits and crits. After a recover, Dragon Rush hits again, and after another recover, Crunch hits, and after one more, Salamence finally misses an attack. I use double team again, and of course, Dragon Rush hits. Then it hits again after the recover. Before going into this battle, I didn't recover my PP. So, after using my second to last recover, I do end up avoiding another Dragon Rush. I set up another double team and Dragon Rush misses again. Then I start to set up Calm Minds. After my second Calm Mind, Dragon Rush hits and crits. I'm hitting some really bad RNG here. I use my last recover, but Salamence hits a Thunderfang. Luckily, not paralyzing. Playing with fire, I go for one more Calm Mind and avoid Crunch. I have only 6 Shadow Balls left, so I gotta make the most of them. Shadow Ball hits and crit Salamence, bringing it down to healing range, and I avoid his Zen Headbutt. I should have used this moment to go for another Calm Mind, but instead I used Shadow Ball as Salamence heals. Salamance's special defense does drop, and one more Shadow Ball takes it out, leaving me with only 3 Shadow Balls left. Flygon comes out, and I Calm Mind, avoiding the first attack. Then, Flygon survives a Shadow Ball, but its special defense does drop, and I avoid a Moonburst. One more Shadow Ball takes it out, and out comes the second Flygon. I know I'm pretty much screwed with only 1 Shadow Ball left, so I Calm Mind 2 more times. Earthquake connects, taking Medicham out. Then I send Wobbuffet out. Wobbuffet gets hit by an Earthquake, but a counter takes Flygon out. Then out comes Kingdra. After taking a Surf, Miracoat takes Kingdra out. That was brutal. If I only just healed Medicham's PP, I wouldn't have had to lose it. So that just really sucks. And I'm going into the champion with a huge disadvantage. Knowing that this is going to be an uphill battle, I decide to lead with Crobat, because I thought its hidden power was Fire, and since it isn't paired up with anyone, it's a bit more expendable. But after setting up Double Team Foley and using Roost when needed, I learned the hard way that my Crobat's hidden power was not Fire. That was very unfortunate. I think I misremembered what its actual hidden power was with another Pokemon. It takes a little bit of time and a full restore, but I do finally manage to take Skarmory out. Then out comes Aggron. I'm kinda stuck here, so I use Acrobatics and Stone Edge hits. I hit another Acrobatics, but Aggron misses the next couple of Stone Edges. After a little bit, Iron Tail connects and takes Crobat down. Now I send Wobbuffet out, and counter takes Aggron out. Next is Armando. After X-Scissors does big damage, counter does take it out. I'm starting to think I should have saved Wobbuffet for last. Then out comes Claydol, who sets up a light screen. After surviving an Earth Power, Miracoat does big damage, but then Claydol heals next turn. Wobbuffet falls, and I send Lantern out. I use Scald, and Claydol does become burned, but Earth Power does hit big. Light Screen wears off, and after a crit Scald, Claydol sets up one more Light Screen and goes down to the burn. Out comes Cradilly, and I use Scald to try and burn. That doesn't work too well, and I get confused. I try one more time, and Giga Drain hits hard. I use Scald once more, but Lilip uses Ancient Power, and Ancient Power takes Lantern out, finishing the run. I'm not gonna lie, this was a really solid attempt, and I'm very proud of what I was able to do. Even though I've made a lot of mistakes in this run, I'm not afraid to show how I messed up, and use it as an educational tool, not only for myself, but for you guys who want to try and do this run yourself. I do plan on coming back to this a little later. Gen 3 is honestly my personal least favorite generation, and this was a bit of a slog to get through. That doesn't mean I didn't have fun at points though. I got to use Pokemon I genuinely have fun using, and I was able to find some good synergy with certain pairs, which is why I love doing Wedlocke so much. Let me know what you guys thought of this run. What do you think worked and what do you think didn't? Would you like to see me finish this run up? Also, do you think I'm a little too reliant on my setup moves? Or do you think it's okay to use in these types of runs? And finally, should I use Latias again? Or moving forward, not use it? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you want to watch more videos like this, definitely subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.